There is a growing issue in the province of Ontario in dealing with condominium units that are rented. We have now got condo corporations in downtown Toronto that are 85% rented. So only 15% of them do owners actually live in their own units. This raises a whole host of problems. The Condominium Act has tried over the past to deal with the basic problems, but layered on it is the effect and power of the Residential Tenancies Act and the Landlord-Tenant Tribunal. Essentially, the relationship is the Condo Act is supposed to override the Residential Tenancy Act in most cases when we're dealing about issues between the condominium corporation and the tenant, not between the owner, who is the landlord, and the tenant. As between the landlord and tenant, the Residential Tenancy Act applies. And this is where we're now seeing a growing problem. The Condominium Act makes it clear that the tenant has to obey the declaration, bylaws, and rules of the condo corporation. And the owner is responsible for the acts of their tenant. So if there is a breach, non-compliance, the corporation can take steps. The Condo Act even provides that ultimately you can have the lease terminated and the tenant vacated or the tenant evicted. And that has happened in Ontario, but it is very difficult. What we are seeing now is the Landlord-Tenant Tribunal, and there have been some recent decisions as between the landlord and the tenant saying they don't care about the corporation or its declaration, bylaws, and rules. They will make a decision to override those as between the landlord and tenant. So we see, and we've said to the ministry, long term, over the next 10 to 15 years, probably the single biggest issue in Toronto and the GTA will be the growing division or canyon between tenants' rights, owners' rights, and the condominium corporation and all the owners that live in their units. So what we believe has to happen is clearer language in the Condo Act to make it sure that the Condo Act and the rights of the other owners take precedent, or paramountcy as we say, over the Residential Tenancy Act. However, there is room and an opportunity for the Residential Tenancy Act and the Tribunal to help. We believe that the Tribunal should have the power to terminate leases and evict tenants when they breach the condominium corporation's declaration, bylaws, and rules. If that's in the Residential Tenancy Act legislation and in the Condo Act, I think we'll go a long way to solving a lot of disputes that exist today and that will arise in the future.